Hey everyone, welcome back to One Take Recording. My name's Enrique, and today we're going to be on week 3 of our weekly vlog. In case you missed the first 2 episodes, I kind of just did a studio tour talking about what's in the studio, what I want to do in the future with it. And in the second video, I showed off my guitar. So for those who don't know, I do play guitar. I have been slowly starting to learn other instruments besides just doing my regular music recording, mixing, mastering, and stuff like that. Now, this week, I actually want to do a story time about some of the recording sessions that I've had in the past and why I'm going the route that I am now. Over the next couple of videos also, I do want to talk about like my recording process, the prep work that goes behind, the mentality that you should have, or at least what I think is a good mentality to have as you start recording other people and stay in a recording session. But today I just want to do a story time just so that you can kind of see some of the experiences that I've had, and I think it's pretty funny, kind of chaotic, but yeah, we'll just go from that. All right, so let me start this story off with where I first started wanting to like record for other people. It was probably freshman year of college. I started doing more recording. My roommate, he also did music, and I figured, this could be a great time to start it. The thing was, I was in a college dorm, and if you haven't been in there, most college dorms, the walls are thin. They're so thin. So I figured that would just not work well. So I was like, I need to get my own place. This year while I'm in college, I'll focus on the recording, focus on getting good at it, so then when I get my own place, I can figure it out. Long story short, after I graduated, I got my own place, and I started doing a little studio. It was finally time to like make a studio and put one up, right? So in a separate room from this house, I built a little studio. It was in my upstairs room, a little spare room, and it looked real nice. I'll post some pictures, y'all can see. Now, here's where it gets kind of crazy, and I honestly don't recommend doing this unless... I just don't recommend doing it. I don't know what I was thinking. But when I had my studio, I put it on Facebook Marketplace. And I just put, I think it was maybe like $20 an hour just to start. And tons of people started hitting me up, messaging, asking. And a couple reasons why, you don't want to do this was first, a lot of people thought I was just selling the equipment for $20, like my whole setup. So they were interested in buying it, and I was like, no, I'm renting it out. 2, it's Facebook, and there are so many just people, and we will get into it. So many people that I have just had come record and like, just sketchy stuff. Okay, little backstory first. In my old studio, you had to go through my house. So we go through this room, into the living room, go up the stairs, into the studio. So we're going like throughout the whole house, and like as a stranger from Facebook, and for them, just seeing me for the first time, it's a little much, I feel like, and that's what really made me stop wanting to keep it up there. And there's one story that I'll share today, at least, being guy messaged me saying he wanted to record, came over, and he's probably at least like 10, 15, maybe 20 years older than me. And he was a cool guy, but I don't think he had a place to stay, if I'm being honest. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only reason I say that is as we started talking and we did the session, he was really just like wanting to be a part of what I was doing. And he's, I don't know if y'all have ever met somebody like that where it's like, hey, like we can make great stuff. And, I just met this guy. So I was like, hold up, this is kind of, I don't know. But this guy, pretty much went through my whole house. And he was like, yo, you got an extra room I can stay at? And I was like, nah, I don't. And then he's like, what about your basement? Which my basement, I live in Michigan, y'all, but Michigan basements, some of them are not finished, and mine is definitely not finished. And this guy, he started offering me money. He's like, yo, I'll give you $200 a month if you let me live in your basement. And I don't know. I was just like, yo, dude, I just met you. Like, if we're being real, like, I just met you. Nah, that's not gonna work. And plus, my basement's not even finished. Like, that shit's dangerous, if I'm being honest. So yeah, it was crazy. And I've never seen that guy again. After the session, he's like, yo, we got great stuff coming. I got to go to work. And I never heard from him again, which is okay. Like, I don't want to offer, like, my recording space for people to live. I got my roommates and stuff, so, like, it's chill. But, like, yeah. Okay. So, for me, that was kind of one of the more, like, weird experiences with Facebook. I've had a couple other ones that were really iffy, but I don't want to spend too much time on them. Just because, like, I could really get into it, I guess. But, I definitely don't recommend, like, going this route, like I said a little earlier. Me being a guy, I do have a little bit of safety in that. But I also did, like, live alone at the time. My roommate was gone for the summer. And if y'all own recording stuff, like, this stuff's expensive. Like, a microphone, camera, all that stuff, expensive. And I could have easily, like, got robbed. I was, kind of being dumb with it, but I really just wanted to try it out. And, like, thank God, nothing bad happened. I just kind of had those, like, weird experiences. But besides that, I did have some kind of, like, decent ones. So this is probably the next one. This is for a guy that I've recorded a lot now, but it started off with just, like, a Facebook message. And normally when people would message me, they'd say, hey, is this available? Yo, can I record? And sometimes people would ask same day, like, yo, can I record tonight for an hour or something? And for me, I'm like, yo, I need some heads up. I can't really do that. But for some reason, when this guy messaged, I was like, sure, let's do it. And we did it. It sounded good. He was prepared. We spent like an hour or two. And I've been working with him since. So here's his stuff. He goes by T Smoz now. But that was kind of a good experience from it. And, out of all the other sessions I had, he's the one that's stuck around the longest so far. So definitely, like, some good stuff can happen from it. But, outweighing, like, the risks and stuff, I would not recommend, like, going the Facebook route, like, market, going to Instagram, post more. But for me, I was like, whatever, I'll just try it. But I do want to say the one thing that I think really was the best from this whole experience of, like, say, doing these Facebook sessions is that it really helped me mold around, at least as a recording engineer, as a musician, other people in their genres. Because in Facebook, it was really anybody who wanted to make music. They saw the price, they hit me up, and I had songs that were just Spanish ones. I had some that were old school hip hop. I had some that were like trap. I had some rock ones, just like completely different genres and completely different styles than anything that I would have ever done. And for those who know what kind of music I make, I usually do more like indie, mellow stuff, a lot of guitar influenced stuff, really just like chill stuff. And a lot of the artists that would come over were completely different categories. And one being that, and two, with just a short notice of not knowing who they are and like doing a session on the fly almost, I had to really adapt. And at first, when it comes to recording, it's a little scary at times because you don't know, like, you want to do a good job. At least when I'm doing it, I don't want to make anyone waste their money. I don't want to waste their time, anything like that. I don't want them to have a bad experience. So in all these sessions, I'm trying to have like a good one, and I'm working with these people where I have to adapt on the fly. If they're like, hey, I want to do this hip hop one, but I can't sing, I need a lot of auto-tune. It's like, okay, what do I do for that? Or we're doing it in like another language where there's a certain style of music in that genre, and it's like, hey, does this sound good for it? What do you think? And it's like, okay, I honestly don't record that music. I haven't recorded that much of that or even heard it until really meeting you. And it's like, what can I do to give like a good piece of advice and to make sure that the recordings are good and that, they're quality, so we're leaving. So I think like from everything that I went through, it really helped me kind of adapt and, not really worry about what's coming into the studio, because I know like, hey, we're going to get a good recording. We're going to do what we can. And I honestly, dangerous setting, but super grateful for kind of how I went about it, the result at least, just because now when people do come over, I have a lot more know-how and I'm a lot quicker about what we need to do and how to get you to a good spot so that you can do what you need to do, which I think, is really the most important thing. Also, just besides learning to adapt, it really helped me learn my style as well, in terms of how I want to be as like an engineer sitting here. Just because there's so many different avenues you can take. And for those maybe wondering, some of those could be the one that's really upfront and critical, saying like, hey, you need to do this, you're not hitting this note, kind of coaching, not so much critical, but almost coaching. Or the one that's laid back and being like ready to go and just letting you do your thing. And I kind of learned that I'm more of that second person of like, I'll let you do your thing, I'll be ready to go, I'll have the takes ready, we're gonna get it done fast. As soon as you're ready to punch in, like, we're going. If you do need like those critiques or like questions, like, we'll talk about it. But honestly, like, I'm more of a believer of I'll let you, go by your own like kind of reins. And for every, studio session, there is different stuff like that the artist is gonna need, because everyone's different. So that was really important for me to start like distinguishing. And lastly, from having all these different like Facebook sessions, you're meeting so many people, and as much as you want to mesh with people, and as much as it said like you're not, and there's some sessions where like previous guy, we made it through, but it wasn't like a click, and it was just like one and done. And that's okay. Obviously I want to make it where whoever comes in wants to come back more, so that it's repetitive and we can keep working and stuff. But sometimes it just doesn't happen like that. And, those are just learning experiences, and kind of just helped me learn that like, hey, sometimes it might not, vibe with the area that I'm in, the way that I do things, or even me as like myself. But it's just important to kind of keep a good, mentality like throughout it. And I'll go through that a little bit more in the next video, I think, just talking about like some stuff that I do to help keep like positive mentality through recording sessions and stuff. But yeah, so I don't want to go too long, but that was pretty much a very shortened version of my Facebook experience of renting my studio out to other people. Now, kind of just to sum it all up again, I definitely wouldn't recommend doing it if you are just by yourself. Your music equipment is great and stuff, and you don't want anyone to like steal it. And Facebook is, sometimes you don't really know who's coming if you are just like saying yeah to everybody. So it can be a little bit dangerous. But with a grain of salt. I guess take it with a grain of salt. I don't know, but the results I got from my experience, I think, have been really beneficial in finding out how I like to record people, finding out how to be a better recording engineer, and just finding out what I need to do for sessions. So I think it like overall helped me, and I did get, to work with a really cool artist that I've been able to work with multiple times from it. But definitely a little bit like sketchy in the long run. So yeah. Anyways, so if you stayed for the whole thing, thank you so much. This was the third week vlog, so we got another one coming up next week, talking about kind of just the mentality of how like a studio session should be, or at least what I think it should be. We're gonna be talking about the prep work that goes behind like a studio session, like what we're doing before, what we're doing after to get ready and kind of clean up, and just some tips so that you can have a better recording session as an engineer, or just a better recording session as an artist being in the studio. So yeah, once again, I hope you enjoyed. My name's Enrique, part of One Take Recording, and follow, subscribe, like, all that if you want more music content. We're doing weekly vlogs, content every day pretty much, of just different music stuff, beat breakdowns, making stuff. So we're really just here to grow and help other people grow. And that's the whole point of One Take Recording. So if you like that, make sure to stick around.